G'day, welcome to Todd's Kitchen. In the past I've made regular butter, homemade butter, which is fantastic, and I'll leave a link at the end of this video that you can click on how to make traditional butter. This is a different one, it's a special one, but it's just as delicious. So join me today as I make my version of vegan butter. Okay, so we're going to start off with our soy milk. Now I'm using unsweetened soy milk, and as an alternative you can use almond milk, but I do find it leaves a bit of an almond taste. And I really want to go for that authentic butter taste. So I do highly recommend soy milk for this recipe. So I've got 1/3 of a cup of our soy milk. And next I'm going to add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And the reason we're doing this is it's actually going to curdle the milk, which is exactly what we want. So just give that a quick stir through, just so it's all combined. And just let that sit like that for about 5 minutes. Should be just enough. And that'll just curdle our soy milk. Don't worry, just because it's curdled doesn't actually mean it's bad for you. It's actually good for this recipe. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to add our curdled milk into our jug. Now this is a blending jug. Obviously you can use any type of blender that you like, it's up to you. So our next important ingredient is some refined coconut oil. Now the reason I'm using refined is because it's actually taken away all that coconut taste. Because if you put regular coconut oil in, you're going to get a strong coconut taste and you're not going to taste that butter. So the whole point of this recipe is you actually have that butter taste. So it's incredibly important that we use the refined coconut oil. So I'm going to add 1 cup or 240 mils of melted coconut oil. Make sure it's melted, especially when it's slightly cool, it does harden up very well. Which is the main reason why we're using this in this recipe, because it really is a fantastic base that combines everything together and keeps it nice and firm. And next we're going to use some canola oil. Now you can use olive oil, but I find when you blend it at a high speed, it does give a bitter taste. So canola oil is the way to go. So we only need 2 tablespoons worth. Next we're just going to add a pinch of turmeric. Now to enhance the flavour, about a half a teaspoon of salt, but this is up to you. If you want unsalted butter, don't add it. It's completely optional. And finally we're going to add a teaspoon of nutritional yeast seasoning. Now this is basically yeast that's been deactivated. So it's pretty much a flavouring, but honestly you open it up, you smell it and it smells exactly like butter. Now you can pick this up at most supermarkets or just Google for your local stockist. But trust me, this is a go-to flavouring for vegans. So just add 1 teaspoon worth in. That's all you need. It's actually a pretty strong taste. And that's it. That's all the ingredients you need. How simple is that? Okay, so being a stick blender, I've got to put the base on. Again, I'm using a stick blender, or you can use a normal regular blender. And we just need to blend it for about 30 seconds or so, just until it's nice and smooth. So just simply pour it in to whatever you've got available. Now if you find while it's cooling down in the fridge, don't be afraid to just give it a quick stir in case it starts to separate. But assuming all the ingredients aren't too hot, you shouldn't have that problem. But if you do, just get like a mini whisk and just whisk it up, just to make sure it's nice and smooth and you have a nice even consistency. So we're going to place this into the fridge for at least 2 to 3 hours, but preferably overnight. And there we have our delicious vegan butter, completely set. So just like normal butter, not spreadable butter of course, I'm talking about pure butter. It is hard straight out of the fridge, so I recommend letting it sit at room temperature for about 10-15 minutes before you want to use it. But at the moment, we're in winter in Australia, so it takes a bit longer, but it's still going to be a bit harder, but it's still spreadable. So you still get that lovely butter texture. Now it's actually very creamy, but it's perfect for any type of bread that you want to use, or any type of baking dish that you want to use, that you want to keep vegan. And it looks like butter. It actually tastes like butter too. So it's perfect for any recipe that requires butter. Of course, you don't have to be a vegan to use it. It's just a simple alternative that's healthy yet delicious. So this homemade vegan butter will store in the fridge easily for up to 2 weeks, but if you're making it in larger batches, you can also freeze it and it will last, well, 6 to 12 months frozen. And just simply defrost in batches and it'll easily last about a week or so. So it literally took just a few minutes to make, incredibly simple, and no matter what recipe you use it in, it's going to taste simply delish. And please continue on by clicking on the link for my keto recipes, and alternatively click on the link where I'll show you how to make the old-fashioned homemade butter.